Hello everyone, welcome back to Agri Farming. Today we are back with organic soybean farming. Soybeans are comparatively easy to produce using organic methods, though it is important to recognize that organic farms rarely focus on single crop. Organic soybeans are best grown in rotation with several other crops that compensate for one another. Organic production is further improved when livestock enterprises that involve grazing and generate manure are also part of the system. Now, let's get into organic soil preparation for soybean farming. The soil must be relatively smooth and friable before planting to allow good seed to soil contact. Planting population based on soybean variety planted to provide quick in-row shading and weed management. Soil fertility in organic system is maintained through crop rotations, application of seaweed, and application of manure, fish emulsions, or plant or animal-based products such as feather meal. Soybeans fix nitrogen for the crop needs and can be grown without manure or compost unless phosphorus levels are deficient. Soil testing is suggested to determine the need for supplemental amendments. Subsequent crops must be include rotations of grain crops and nitrogen-adding cover crops to maintain suitable fertility for future soybean crops. Sample the soil in at least 4 places per acre to determine if lime is needed to adjust the pH value. The pH value of the soil should be 6.5 to 7. Site selection for organic soybean farming. For grain to be promoted as certified organic, the site selected must be free from prohibited substances for the previous 3 years. Soil fertility is managed by using manure, cover crops, and compost rather than synthetic fertilizers. Organic specialty soybeans must be isolated from non-organic soybeans during all phases of production and harvest. Now, let's get into crop rotation importance for organic soybean farming. Crop rotations serve two main purposes: to break pest cycle and to improve soil fertility. Regarding fertility management, rotation strategies focus mainly on generating and conserving nitrogen. Nitrogen is the most limiting element in organic soybean production, particularly for corn and small grains, which complement soybeans in most crop sequences. Crop rotation that contain forage legumes are the key means by which nitrogen is supplied to the system. Now, let's see seed rate and sowing in organic soybean farming. Soybean has grown for grain purpose needs about 20 to 30 kg seed per hectare, but for fodder crop needs about 70 to 75 kg per hectare during Kharif season and 100 to 120 kg per hectare during spring. 45 to 65 cm by 2.5 cm spacing is good for the Kharif crop and 30 to 45 cm by 2.5 cm in the spring season. The sowing must be done in lines 45 to 60 cm apart with the help of seed drill or behind the plow. Plant to plant distance should be 4 to 5 cm. The depth of sowing must not be more than 3 to 4 cm under optimum moisture conditions. The seed rate of soybean based upon germination percentage, seed size, and sowing time. The benefits of organic system: crop rotation, green manuring, cover cropping, use of livestock manure, and composting contribute much more to the whole agro-ecosystem than any be readily apparent. By adding organic matter and stimulating biological activity in the soil, these practices make mineral nutrients more available to plants, generate the microbial production of plant beneficial chemicals, and improve the soil's tilth. Soybean is a short day plant. It requires hot weather for optimum production. It can be grown year-round in most parts of the tropics. Plants can be grown at ambient temperatures between 15 to 27 degrees Celsius, although temperature below 21 degrees Celsius and above 32 degrees Celsius may reduce flowering. Temperatures exceeding 40 degrees Celsius are detrimental to seed production. Soybeans are adapted to grow in a wide range of soil and climates but require adequate soil moisture for germination and seedling establishment. Soybean plants are more sensitive to waterlogging but are tolerant of drought conditions once established. Soybean grows best on loose, tight, well-draining loam soil. How to propagate soybean in organic soybean farming? Soybean is propagated directly from seed. If seeds are too planted in field where soybean has not been grown in 3 to 5 years previous, they should first be inoculated with nitrogen-fixing bacteria. The seed bed must be prepared before planting by removing any crop residue, large stones, and weeds. Tilling the soil helps to break up a large clods of earth. Seeds may be sown by hand or mechanically. In till soil, seeds are usually planted at a depth of 3.2 to 4.5 cm in rows spaced 30 cm apart. Otherwise, no-till planting may be used to plant seeds in the suitable of previous crop without first cultivating the soil. With this method, seeds are drilled into the soil in rows spaced 17.8 cm apart. No-till practices reduce soil erosion and decrease the loss of moisture in the soil. Now, let's get into organic fertilizer requirement for soybean farming. For obtaining good yield of soybean, 15 to 20 tons of compost or farmyard manure per hectare have to be applied. A good crop of soybean yielding around 30 quintals per hectare removes about 300 kg nitrogen per hectare from the soil. But soybean, being a legume, can supply their own nitrogen needs provided they have been inoculated and there is efficient modulation in the plant. An application of 20 to 30 kg nitrogen per hectare as a starter dose will be enough to meet the nitrogen requirement of the crop in the initial stage in low fertility soils having poor organic matter. Soybean needs relatively large amounts of phosphorus than other crops. Phosphorus is taken up by the soybean plant during the growing season. This period of great demand starts just before the pods begin to form and continues until about 10 days before the seeds are fully developed. Irrigation requirement for organic soybean farming. Moisture is essential for germination during early development. Artificial watering or rainfall at the time of their seed filling period is necessary, though soybean can withstand some drought once they are well established. The soybean crop generally does not require any irrigation in Kharif season, though if there are a long spell of drought at the time of pod filling, one irrigation would be desirable. During excessive rain, proper drainage is also equally important. Pest and disease management in organic soybean farming. Insect and disease management relies heavily on employing sound agronomic practices such as crop rotation and, when available, resistant varieties. Fungicides and insecticides are infrequently applied to soybeans. Weed control can be obtained by a good crop rotation program and herbicides. One of the most common pests in soybean is corn earworm and tobacco budworm. Tobacco budworm and corn earworm are some of the most destructive insect pests of soybean, through pod feeding and sometimes foliar and flower feeding. Their biology is very similar. In conventionally managed soybeans, tobacco budworm is more tolerant of certain conventional insecticides compared to corn earworm, though from the organic soybean producer, the distinction is largely insignificant. These insects will often infest soybeans in early August or late July. Soybeans will be less attractive to this pest if the canopy is closed off, blooms are not present, and if there is little young, newly grown vegetation. Remedial in management using a spinosyn can be highly effective. Some of the other insect pests is soybean looper and stink bugs. Soybean looper can be managed using spinosyn and it is very effective. Now, let's get into when and how to harvest soybean. Soybeans are ready to harvest between 70 to 160 days after planting, based on the variety. Plants are ready to harvest when the stems and leaves have turned yellow and the seed pods brown to black. Most of the soybeans are mechanically harvested. The length of the growing season varies from 50 to 200 days depending on the variety, weather, latitude, etc. Soybeans are harvested over a relatively short period. Organic soybean production is highly seasonal activity with the result that the beans are gathered and placed in storage for utilization over the entire year. That's all folks for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to this channel and please ring the bell button to notify you whenever new video is uploaded. Thank you for watching.